Action determined in closed session, state petition for reinstatement on number 07-22-23.
I'll make a motion that we to permit the conditional enrollment in a traditional school program with conditions.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
State petition for reinstatement number 01-22-23
to permit conditional enrollment in a traditional school program.
Okay. You're gonna make a motion. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Procedural issues. Recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as a public record. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, roll call. Members present. Here, Simmons here, Mara here, Wayne is absent, Adrian is here, and Madison is here. Approve agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Any correction?
Yes, there is one correction, and that is
What are the last names?
yes, it was Kirk. That would be
Under classified stipend extra duty.
on page 5. It's the only name on that assistant volleyball
Oh,
coach.
it's a kick.
Yep. Okay, so agenda with corrections.
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One thing that I'm very proud that this is going to happen. We're going to administrate the oath of office to our new student board member, Madison Skusd. So you're up. Everybody's here. Mm-hmm.
I,
Madison Schminsky.
do solemnly swear.
Madison Schminsky.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Do solemnly swear.
We're starting I
Madison Schminsky.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and defend the Constitution of the United States
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter. Thank you.
You're doing okay. It was a pleasure to have this done. I don't know, Nora, have you done this before with other student board members? Yeah. Been well. So I'm glad we got to reinstitute that for you. So, okay. We're going to go with reports and communications. No CSCA, no RTA. So, Madison, you're up.
I have a lot of things to talk about. I'm excited. So first up, volleyball. Girls volleyball played men yesterday, and unfortunately both JV and varsity lost. But we will be playing Cal City tomorrow, and we're hoping to. Football will be played at Big Bear on Saturday and lost, but they'll be playing at Vasquez this Friday the 8th, and their first home game will be on the 15th. So we'll be looking forward to watching our boys play. Yesterday, tennis played Paraclete and won 6-2 matches. They won 3 single matches and won all 3 of their double matches. And they'll be playing at Tehachapi tomorrow. The FFA, they had their fair a couple weeks ago. And we had several awards in both the market and showmanship category. But as president, I'm especially excited to announce that one of our 5th-year members, Sarah Baltimore, she won Reserve Grand Champion Beef and won first place FFA Master Showmanship. And Samantha Hufford won first place Novice Master Showmanship. And then tomorrow, our officer team will be attending the High Desert Section meeting at Eastern Valley. The Cadet Corps will be attending MASH Day and Boot Camp on Saturday. And then also the Extreme Team Challenge in Porterville on October 28th and 29th. And then they'll be participating in the Armed Forces Day Parade on Saturday, September 16th. Drama is very excited to announce their new Ghost Light play. Opening night is November 15th at 7 p.m. and it will take place every night at that time from the 15th to the 18th. Mathletes has their first varsity meet on the 20th. Robotics is currently working on a swerve drive, which is a new way to drive the robot. They're very excited about it, and they're training new members. And then in ASB, we are in the process of planning homecoming, but that looks a little different this year because we are unable to hold pep rallies, so we're searching for other ways to bring spirit up in the student body. And then the senior class has a lot of stuff going on. So the primary parking spot auction was closed, but we will be auctioning 8 more spots on Friday, and it'll only be on Friday. We decided to open the auction again due to some community dissent regarding the parking spot auction and how it was handled. And so more students will have the opportunity to buy spots. And all bidding will end at 3 p.m. sharp. Mr. Escobar, the senior class advisor, has made it extremely clear that anything after 3 will not be accepted as a valid bid. Senior Sunrise happened. It was a great success. Everyone had a lot of fun. October 5th, we're very excited for our new PIE teacher fundraiser. Several teachers have volunteered to become victim to a whipped cream pie in the face. We're hoping to raise a lot of money. Parking spot painting will happen tomorrow and Friday. And then Senior Square painting is happening pretty soon. And then we're redoing our Soka Senior fundraiser this year. So that's where lower classmen pay to throw water on seniors, and they pay extra money for an ice bucket. And that'll be on September 20th. And the junior, sophomore, and freshman classes don't have any announcements. They're awaiting approval on their advisors, but they're all ready to hit the ground running once that approval is made.
Thank you, very comprehensive. Now we know what's going on. CBO report, Mr. Irvin.
All right, that's a hard act to follow. We met with CSCA last week for the opening of negotiations for this year. I think it went well. We got their proposal, we got our counter. We'll be back at the table on the 15th of this month to knock on wood, wrap it up, but we'll see. We'll get there, counter to our counter at that next session, and then we can really see how far apart we are in some things. Updates on the construction side of things. The project at the high school is in the earliest phases. There's no hotel trailer on site, and temporary fencing is being set up today and tomorrow, so that everything is done as safely as possible for staff and students and the contractors on site and everything. The bid opening for the UPK project at the old RES campus is tomorrow at 2 p.m. So we can see. Hopefully, we get multiple contractors. And we have multiple bids to open tomorrow. And then for TMS, we're gonna have Alma play a quick video. Where this is showing footage of what the project looked like as of last week, and that our inspector of record was nice enough to put together for us and put out labels of what exactly we're looking at instead of just rectangles of concrete and dirt.
That's really cool.
That's my plan.
We haven't got the
Okay, let's
approval.
And here you can see building A,
Wish you all could have been there today.
pieces of it coming in last week.
Today. And it was, the kids were literally on the blacktop just staring. It was a sight to see today.
Did you get the North building start put?
You'll see. You'll see. It really was, I wish I was able to see more of it. I was busy doing other stuff, but I saw the tail end of it. But it's a crazy process to be able to watch. It's literally like they're putting together a puzzle. And it's so in sync with each other.
So that last bit was what will be classroom building A coming in. The classroom buildings are 8 separate pieces.
Yeah.
That one combined, they set it on the foundation, use a hydraulic jack to push it together, and then have somebody underneath to bolt everything down and put the plates together. So each of the classroom buildings are 8 separate pieces, and the restrooms, I believe, are 2 pieces. And then I believe, and I didn't get a chance to get out there today they took them off the back of the trucks and set them on the concrete foundations. I believe there's 2 classroom buildings.
So right now, sorry.
I'm asking, yes.
So if they have that, where they have the arrow for the restroom, so right now the one restroom is there. Oddly enough, we try to keep everything.
It's not quite hooked up.
It's not quite set up yet, but the one restroom is there. I sent Ms. Gaines some photos, and the 2 furthest, well, I guess that would be the north, that you're asking, right next to the basketball court. So we actually had to have the kids stay. We tried to keep them away. We kept them away from the fence, but they were just watching this enormous crane literally put together the 8 pieces. So they did the first set. Well, the second set they actually did first. Then they came close to the fence and did that. So right now we have 2 buildings there that were put there. And then it was just, I mean, honestly, I showed Ms. Gaines. It literally, you just see the crane literally putting it in. And you would think it takes them forever. I mean, in 2 days, not in 2 days, in 1 day, there's 2 buildings there now with 16 pieces. Like it's obviously there's more work to be done, like you said, putting the plates in and stuff like that. But they literally just picked up the piece, the truck brought it out, picked it up, moved it over, dropped it, moved it in, and it's almost like it just slides right in. Like it was crazy. And literally, I think they brought them out yesterday, and we didn't even recognize it. When we were leaving this morning, they started bringing them in. We're all giving a call, said, "Hey, we're just gonna need you to keep the kids away from the fence." Um, Good luck with that. But this morning, all the kids were watching as they started getting the second building, which I would say, and then they did the first. It was done by the end of lunch. So by 1 o'clock, they were finished with that. Then they went in and worked on the other stuff. But yeah, so we have 2 buildings and a restroom already there. So it's just crazy how quickly now it's going to get. And obviously a lot of the interior stuff, but it's coming together. And I will say it's crazy too for our staff to see how far the campus is going to go now. For the fact that the second building actually goes to what we call the bridge. So that's really, if you look over our bridge area, that's really where the second building is. And where we said, if we have 8?
7.
We still have another, is it 8?
7 classroom buildings.
So we still have another 5 to go. So it's good, it's going to be quite the territory, and spaces. So
Plus the track.
Plus the track, right. I mean, we haven't even got to the other stuff yet, right? So I think our staff is finally getting a little bit more jittery too. So when are we moving in? When are we doing this stuff today? There's more of, I think, them really seeing it now, though, seeing and believing and stuff. So thank you.
Alrighty, that concludes mine and Ed's.
There's nothing wrong with that. Assistant Superintendent of Instruction and Curriculum, Dr. Mendez.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to give some updates in terms of some professional development that we've had recently. On August 29th, we had a professional development at Roseman High Early College campus in regards to a transfer VR. So they had the headsets and different equipment that can be utilized, particularly in CTE classrooms. It's kind of they have that experience, but virtually. So we had Mr. Riley, as well as other teachers participate, and from Tropical Middle School we had Miss Spinach. She also joined in the training there, and then we had some of the students at the high school also participate with equipment. They had that experience. They're very excited with the professional development that was offered there. So they transfer VR, virtual reality, headset, and equipment. We also have been in contact, Ms. Gaines and I and Jen Wexler. We met with Dr. Becky Wetzel, and she's one of the consultants that worked with us in previous years. And the plan is to have her continue the work that she has been doing with the elementary schools, as well as the middle school, in particular the math department. Dr. Becky Wetzel. Ms. Gaines and I have also been in contact with Dr. Douglas Fisher, and we would also like him to continue his work on teacher clarity, learning intention, success criteria, and other areas where he's been helping support school sites in the past. And most recently in June, we did a professional development for administrators as well. So we've been in contact with him for upcoming professional development opportunities. We have teachers at the high school, Mr. Carr, Mr. Escobar, Principal Mr. Bajnat, and I, we participate in Ethnic Studies Community of Practice. It's a series of 6 sessions at a Kern County Superintendent's Schools Office. We will continue to gather information and then share that information. This time we're gathering details, materials, resources. Okay. Additionally, we had a chance to Tropical Middle School, they had their back to school night, and parents had an opportunity to review the curriculum, look at some of the materials that are being utilized there at the middle school. And we're also getting ready for our reading and math academies. Teachers have been preparing for the reading and math academies to help support students in particular areas in terms of their math and reading skills. So that will be coming soon, and teachers are getting ready for that. Okay. That concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
Math and Reading Academy begin.
currently scheduled for next week, as early as next week. Some of the teachers is the plan. If not if they need additional time for prep, then the following week, within next week or the following week is the time frame that they're the targeted time frame in terms of getting the academy for.
Thank you, Dr. Andrews. Assistant Superintendent, Special Education Pupil Services, Ms. Shelley.
Hello, everybody. So, just a few things that we're working on. We provide monthly service logs for Medi-Cal because we get partial reimbursements for a lot of services that we provide for students in the district. And we usually get annual reimbursements. We were notified last week that we were underpaid. So that's always good. It turns out they owe us $655,281. So we're going to be getting additional, that's going to be reimbursed to us in 6 different payments. So that's pretty exciting for our department because that's going to add a lot more things for services and stuff for our kiddos. Let's see, I met today with our county coordinator and program specialist to discuss our focus plan for this year. Our meeting went really well. We're making significant progress on our plan, so they were very excited about that. I am in the process of scheduling a workability program meeting for next week so we can get some of our students placed in jobs in the community. We do that every year. And so they actually get paid for working while they are obtaining work experience. So it helps them out for their future. So that should be starting within the next couple weeks. We had our first crisis prevention intervention training last week. That went really well. They've updated the program and have incorporated a lot of trauma-informed practices, which makes it even more beneficial. So we're really excited about that. The training went really well. And we have classes now scheduled through December so that we can do classes every month for our teachers and paraeducators and campus safety officers. We've had site administrators attend as well. So that's been going really well. And the last thing, we have teams from each of our sites scheduled to attend KCSOS PBIS cohorts this year. Tropico attended last year, so they're not going to be attending this year, but all of our other sites are scheduled to attend. We have the 2 elementaries attending in East Kern and the high school and alt ed attending in Bakersfield. And that's it for me.
Thank you. So, Superintendent, Human Resources, Ms. Hargis.
Good evening, everyone. We are busy over in HR filling all of our open positions. So a couple of classified positions, a few certificated positions that we have that we're working on. As Robert mentioned, we did participate in CSEA negotiations this last week. Paul and I both were able to participate. We are keeping track of everyone that is keeping track of everyone's credentials. We have some teachers, that are waivers, PIPs, and STIPs, meaning that they are currently working on those credentials. So we're keeping track of them and helping them with their qualifications. Some of the universities require additional professional development, so we try to get them plugged in different areas to help them meet those requirements. We'll be sending out 4-week letters probably on Friday, and those are just letting parents know that the teacher that their student has is either a PIP or a STIP, meaning they have a provisional credential, and that's what they're working on in the classroom. Substitute teachers, we are getting new subs. We get inquiries 1 to 2 every week. So thank you very much for the increase in sub pay because it really has helped us ensure that we have credentialed, qualified people in our classrooms every day. So
That's it. Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mrs. Gaines.
Good evening, everyone here and all of our parents and community members who are joining us from home. I don't want to get too caught up with all the construction going on, but I have to say, my heart is just so excited. I can't want to see the finished product so quick, and I know it's not going to happen that quickly, but since the first time I stepped on Rosamond High campus, I was like, oh, we need a cafeteria. And then when Mr. Davis, our director of grounds and maintenance during COVID, and I will never forget this, I told him, I said, here's what the California Department of Public Health, this is the spacing they want us to have in the cafeteria. So putting this spacing in place, please come back and tell me how many students I can have per lunch in that cafeteria. Knowing that we had like close to 800 students, I was thinking he was going to come back. 300 a lunch, maybe I could have 3 lunches. When he came back and told me I could have 14 kids spaced in that cafeteria, I was like, 14? Is there any zeros after that 14? And he was adamant it was just 14, spacing on both sides. So to see that we are now starting this cafeteria and knowing in my mind that it's going to be a huge building, I'm just overwhelmed and excited. And I cannot thank, when we talk about the construction, obviously Robert, my CBO, plays a big role, but the man out there in the trenches is Raleigh Davis, our director of grounds and maintenance. I don't know how he does it, because we have, as you heard, about to have potentially 4 construction projects, and they're not small ones. They're big $1 million projects. And so my hat's off to him. I can't thank him enough. Kudos to Raleigh Davis for everything you do for Southern Kern. I had a chance last week with Cabinet to visit Tropico Middle School. It was our first Cabinet visit to a site where we are actually there for a couple hours, and it was a delightful visit. And I want to say thank you to all of the teachers and staff who welcomed us and who opened their classrooms for us to just go in and hang out for a little while and stand and be, obviously we're standing back in the back, trying not to be obvious, but of course, here we come. And saw a lot of great instruction going on, a lot of students engaged. Thank you, Mr. Shevlin. Thank you also to Mrs. Atkinson for, I know that just didn't happen overnight, and all the CSOs and all the paras and the teachers, obviously their work, it was really, it was a delight. What really impressed me more than anything was I literally stood out there in passing periods a few times just to see for myself what it was like. And it was night and day from what I've seen before. I didn't even see a student put their hands or push like with their finger another student. So I know that takes work, and you probably would say, Mr. Shevlin, we're not there yet. There's always room for improvement, but I see that Tropico is definitely on the right road. And it was an old middle school person. I say it over and over. I am an old middle school gal. I know how fun it can be, and I also know that times they get really, really a little bit antsy. So thank you, and thank you to all the teachers who welcomed us on that day and staff. Speaking of Tropico, I have a little announcement to make from Mr. John Ferrandini, the music teacher at Tropico, and he wanted to let the board know that the Tropico Eagles Marching Band and Flag Team, did you hear that? Will be performing the national anthem for the AYSO opening event Friday, September 8th at West Park Field at 6 p.m. So if you have nothing else to do Friday evening at 6 p.m., you can go hear Mr. Ferrandini's band. Also, they will be marching in the Roseman Parade on September 16th. Parade begins at 10 a.m. So they'll be playing the national anthem at the parade as well. If you heard all of my cabinet members, well, not all of them, but the ones who were on the dais, they're so active and they're so involved and there's so much going on right now in each one of their departments that I can't thank them enough. I don't know how they keep it all straight sometimes, but they make my job easy because of these people who sit to my right. And I just want to say thank you to the 3 or 4 of you. I didn't forget you, Robert. Even though you used Ed as a backup, I didn't forget you. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate all of your hard work in covering everything you need to cover. I also want to thank our teachers and staff members who have signed up to teach the reading and math academies. And I don't think it's too late, is it, Mrs. Hargis, if they decide they still want to teach?
I think actually we have all of our spots filled. We're just trying to enroll students.
Okay. Well, if
Some of our numbers are kind of low.
Okay.
So we need to enroll more students.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And finally, I just want to say that Southern Kern, along with the RMAC, Roseman Municipal Advisory Council, and the Roseman Chamber of Commerce, is hosting the Antelope Valley Vietnam Memorial Wall. And we're hosting this November 7th through the 12th at West Park. And this is not, Alma will hurt me if I show you this. This was something she put together today. This is the flyer, but this is not the final flyer. It's not the glossy that came from the printer. Alma just put this together for us. But as you can see, this is going to be the front of the flyer, and this is going to be the back of the flyer. And the wall will be open 24 hours a day. And we are opening it for student field trips November 8th and 9th from 9 to 1. So if you want to bring, the teachers want to bring a class or 2, 3, how many ever of students on either one of those days, please let Alma know. She's scheduling all the classes who want to make a field trip to West Park to see the wall. And one thing that in closing, I just want to say we need approximately 200 volunteers because, as I said, it's open 24 hours a day. The only mandate to volunteer is you absolutely must attend a training. And that's not my decision. That's the original AV Wall Committee. They will not let anyone volunteer at that wall who has not gone through the training. So we have 2 trainings scheduled. One of them is October 30th at 6:30 p.m. at Roseman Elementary. And the other one is November 1st at 10 a.m. right here in the boardroom. We did an evening and a morning to accommodate for the community members, parents, staff members, anybody who would like to volunteer. Typically, they volunteer a couple of hours. I'd love to see as many people come out from the district and our parents and community to support this. This wall will close down in the year 2025. And so, and it's a view of the Vietnam Wall in Washington, D.C. So I will close with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member communications. I guess I'll start it off since I've done that all the time. I get yelled at by a couple other board members that I keep picking on them. Let everybody know, I will not answer, but I do see the Facebook pages, and I see some of the stuff that goes on. We are going to address a couple of them this evening that I've seen. I've asked Mrs. Gaines if she would please do that. We also are going to have the first reading of the tardy policy. Tardy policy is different. This is for going between classes or whatever. Right? They decide they want to meet up with their friends in between going to classes. they're going to have to, parents are going to have them stop. Because that's one of the reasons why we've been asked to consider the target policy. We have. The athletic director, Mr. Johnson, has said he likes it, so it gives me good knowledge that, hey, that we've done something right. The reason is that, and we'll explain that in a little bit of why the policies are. We have the policy for not just that, but the attendance policy. So we're going to go through that again as far as on the target policy. There are 3 readings, so that you can come to the next board meeting if you've got comments you want to make, or if you've got comments tonight that can be considered and so forth. We just cannot do action. I know somewhere down the line soon, Elma, we're going to need to do the start up the safety security meetings again. So I just want to let everybody know that that is definitely on our minds, on our agenda. We did form a board subcommittee to address that. I believe we're the only one in the valley that has done that. But we feel the safety of our children are important. So we want to make sure that we get it correct and right and so forth. And things we will be discussing is also, Fallon had the drug item the other day, but we want to also have something for the parents to understand what their role is if we do have an issue. And that is really important because we've all seen what's been going on at other places. Everybody is panicking. We want to try to reduce that, and we want to try to do it in an orderly way that the parents find out things go quicker and so forth. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sunny.
Hello, and I apologize. I forgot to bring this out to all of you guys here. This is the chicken, and this is the bucket. And what I need you guys to do is to feed the chicken, because this goes towards scholarships for kids. So it's the AB School Board Association, so it's hungry. So don't be shy. You guys come on by. And I also want to say hello to everybody that's here, of course, and people that are streaming. I'm going to actually be at the opening ceremony for AYSO, so I will be there running around with my kids' team. That'll be exciting. And I love seeing the kids. Like, I walk to school every morning, and I see the kids, and they're smiling, they're all happy. I see the drop-off is going well at West Park, so that's really exciting. So I hang out there and, talk to the moms and talk to staff and stuff like that. So it's very exciting. So I do, everyone that talks to me, I do listen to you. I do listen, and I try and give reasonable advice. Other than that, oh my gosh, I feel like the first semester quarter we're almost like halfway through the first quarter. Yeah, it goes fast. It goes really fast. I'm excited for you over there at Tropico, Mr. Shevlin, those buildings coming in. And I'd like to mention that I feel like my first meeting we were deciding on expanding Tropico. But I love Tropico, so I'm really excited. So next time you have buildings coming in, go ahead and shoot me a text. Okay, girl, come on over.
Yeah.
I'll come over. Yeah.
After your talk about sliding in reality.
Yeah, right? Exciting.
Might as well hit us all.
Right? Exactly. I was able to attend some of the volleyball games. I'm running around. I haven't seen the varsity games, so I'm definitely going to come out. But the freshman team is undefeated. Good job, Miss Kirk. Not Keck. Kirk. Well done. Other than that, oh my gosh, I don't know. I've just been running around with crazy person. A lot. But Mario, all you. Don't forget, I'll be coming to y'all's campuses this week because I've been slacking. I haven't been coming out here, so you will see me in the offices as well, everybody. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Mario. Your turn now.
I asked the watched them drop the bathrooms. They were carrying it. That's when I was going by, so I had to pull over and watch them do it.
We got a report of that stuff.
I was there last Friday also. Stalking the workers over there. The construction has just been going gangbusters. And then we had a week ago that we had the meeting. No, it's been 2 weeks already since we had the meeting for the cafeteria, and then we walked the area that they're going to fence off to make it the safest and usable area, because they got a lot of trucks that are going to be going in and out, moving dirt, big equipment, all that kind of stuff. Let's see.
Good to see you.
You'll love this cafeteria.
I'm sure I
Because
will.
it's definitely not what we went to school with. It should seat close to 500 kids. 200, was it 260 or 280 inside? And then we'll have roll-up doors that'll have seating for 300 outside. Oh, yeah, and it'll be covered. So, yeah, if it comes out a third of what it's looking like in my mind, it's going to be beautiful. Then we've got the project over at Roseland Elementary that we will be doing for the TKs. That it just goes out this week, and hopefully that comes out like it should, and we can get started on that one. So it's been very, very busy here at Southern Current. And everybody over that way that's been doing all the curriculum stuff. Thank you. You're doing a great job. You guys out there actually doing what they ask you to do. This school year has just taken off running. And so far nobody's stumbled. So that's a good thing. I was at the auction at the FFA. It was very interesting. It's really nice to see that our Roseland FFA did so well, both in showmanship and in marketing. So, another great event. Actually, it'll be out there. It'll be on somebody's table. Hey, what are you reading that one for? But the FFA, the 4-H, the Grange, all that stuff teaches the kids responsibility. It teaches them basically where the food comes from. A lot of people don't realize that you don't go to the supermarket and just, just appears there. A cow had to give it to you so that you could actually do that. They do that one day. When I was in school, they actually took us to some dairies and we saw the process of the milk, the processing of the pasteurization and all that stuff. It'd be nice if they did.
We visited Fresno State and their dairy area, but we weren't allowed to actually visit the cattle and see the milking process because it was a biohazard, like a biosecurity issue.
Right, because yeah, you guys are sterilized to be able to be in there. And Fresno State does have a very good agriculture, and they actually have to do some farming program for more fire. They do. My daughter actually lived right off the vineyard at Fresno. She went. Okay. Thank you. That's too much.
I just have a few questions. But first off, I would like to welcome my student board member. I missed the last meeting, so I wish I'm happy to have you here, and I look forward to being close to you. About the wall, you mentioned that there needed to be 200 volunteers, and so will we know as it gets closer how many volunteers that have volunteered?
Yes. Today we had a meeting and we had approximately, I think, close to 50 volunteers so far. But I mean, we won't know the actual number until we've held both of the trainings. Because remember, someone could sign up to volunteer but not show up for either one of the trainings. They cannot volunteer. They literally are that strict about the volunteers. But we have out of that close to 50, some of them are school district employees and some are community members.
So it's open to everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
And so will it still be able to go on if we don't get the 200 volunteers?
Well, some people, like, I would imagine I'll be there several hours, more than 2. So, I mean, some people will be there a couple times that week, or 3 times even. So we'll see how as we get a little bit closer to the actual dates, how many additional volunteers we will have.
And Ms. you said that you, I guess, high school is not able to really. That's
No, so it's actually because we added the extra 5 minutes onto the tuition, so instead of 10 minutes, it's 15 minutes now. And what I was told is that there aren't enough education minutes in the year, and we have to take every minute we have to use that as education time, since we can't fit any assembly schedule into our thing. And apparently we've already taken, I don't know for sure, this is just what I've heard, we've already taken 3 minute days and so we can beat the education out of our thing.
Okay. Just thank you everyone for your reports. I appreciate that, and as well as printed the site administration. I appreciate everything that you guys put together, all your letters and stuff. So that's very important. And the school year is almost a month into the school year. So I'm pretty excited to see, I guess kind of get a full year on the board. So I'm looking forward to that and kind of getting out there and getting my feet wet.
I'm watching. I got names.
The subcommittee communications updates, anybody have any?
I think you did it all.
I think we did. So we'll go ahead and discuss that. Comments from the public. Members of the public may address the board. None? Thank you. I don't have to read that. Consent items.
Make a motion to approve. I looked at that for the soil testing, for the tester. I remember asking about that for the other test. I was like, oh, good, but that's. I did see it, so I did not have a question, but I didn't understand why.
I will give you the, well, I just, anytime you have any kind of trenching done at any school site, you have to have somebody there from the geologist to check compaction and make sure that the compaction is more than the natural soil as it's going back in.
How many times has it come together? Is it $141,000 for one visit? How many visits?
Give you the hours.
I might need to like change jobs. That's what I just said.
It's the amount of hours. And what they actually have to do. If they get to redo something second.
Or any kind of pouring, any cement, they have to be on because they have to have the proper PSI pressure for the cement to hold a certain amount of weight. For the mass grading, that will have to be done to get the main part of the building in. They have to dig it out 3 feet and then recompact it to get the proper compaction so they can move forward. They figured about 200 hours of them being on site testing. Where they have open trenching, they're going to be about 272 hours.
That makes a lot of hours.
Yeah, and like if they're doing masonry, they have to inspect where the blocks are going to go, make sure the soil underneath them is going to be strong enough to hold any kind of wall. And then when they pour the cement that fills these walls, they have to do what they call a slump test, which they pour this little cylinder and they take the coat off and they check it, see how fast if it slumps up. And they measure it, and then they'll actually take one back to the lab and crush it and see how much pressure it actually takes to crush that after it's sat for, I believe it's 21 days.
Wow. That's why I didn't ask. I knew you were going to tell me all of this.
Okay. So now that I've explained that,
Do I have it first? I'll go first.
I was before.
You were.
All right.
I will second.
Yes, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
General, board goals. Mrs. Gaines.
Okay, hopefully this won't take too long, but.
We're in the corner.
Every year it is our goal to complete assignments that we haven't done yet, or to improve test scores, or to whatever. There are various types of assignments that the board has given me over the past 4 years. Most of them I'm pleased to say that the cabinet and I have completed, but there have been a couple that I think we could not. So tonight, as we move forward into the 23-24 school year, I want to make sure that not only am I doing what I have a vision to complete for Southern Current, but what the 5 board members feel they would like to see done. You are the elected officials, so I would like to ask you at this time, are there some things that you see when you're out there visiting schools, or maybe you hear from community members, your residents of the community, that we need to work on this year? Not that we're not working, as you can see, but there might be something else. And I want to know early enough that we can address them, because not everything can be done overnight. Sometimes it's a process. And so that's what I'm asking tonight, is for the 23-24 board goals. All right, what do you think?
I'm going to give you one, and you already know it. Since we are removing the weight room for the athletes, one of the goals is to replace that weight room. You never know.
No.
It's a goal because I've already, and I have been had people address that to me, and including a gentleman that's sitting in the back, and just gave me a thumbs up for that goal. But he's correct. Without those, you have to understand that weight room is important to the athletes because it gets, it helps them, prepare for their football is probably the biggest, but you got wrestling and others that really need that. But everybody should be using it. Yeah.
Yeah, wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on. I have it. Great room.
All right.
How about, I think this is not a goal that could be done in a year. Trying to get more reading comprehension into the first, second, and third grade levels. They've gotten better, but I think we can do a little better job. Either pull out classes or something, because I know there's a lot of kids who can't read the phonics, they can't read the sight words because their brains work too fast. I know it sounds weird, but I actually went to a class on that day. And I found that there's some kids whose brains are way too quick. And I learned this later in life. I had a problem with my brain working too fast for seeing the sentence, and I would stumble over it constantly because I was trying to say it, and my eyes were like 2 sentences ahead.
Yeah, you can't slow down.
Yeah, you have to slow down. And I couldn't get myself to slow down. And one of my daughters would have the same exact problem. And we found that if she stood on one foot, she could read out loud perfectly. So maybe look into different avenues of learning. I don't know if I'm just throwing that out there.
I would like to see possibly, I haven't heard about it happening yet this year, but cell phones are a problem in classrooms and what have you. Like a means of checking them in class, or like putting them to the side or locking them away or something, just so the kids aren't distracted and causing drama.
Haven't done before. So don't be shy. I mean, I've had a few unique things on the board.
Are all our schools being aligned to curriculum so as they, like the two elementary schools are aligned with Tropico, so as they move from school to school, they're not caught in like the deer in the headlights? Okay.
Well, let me say something and see if I'm on the right track. The curriculum used at RES and West Park is the same elementary curriculum. Remember, it is the teachers who, after going through a process of piloting, let's say 3 or 4 different curriculums, state approved, then they narrow it down sometimes to 2, and then they decide which one really fits our demographics, which one is really beneficial to our English learners, et cetera, et cetera. So the curriculum, the publishers at the elementary are the same. We may be using a different English or history publisher at the middle school, and then even a different one from the middle school at the high school. But the high school curriculum is, the English is using the same publisher. Does that help you? Okay.
What I'm worried about is, there for a while we had an issue with mathematics where when they went from the elementary school to the junior high, all of a sudden our 6th graders plummeted on their test scores. So there was a disconnect somewhere. I don't know if we have fixed that or not. I mean, I just remember our test scores a few years back, and it's been probably, I think probably before COVID, that they were just not, instead of being a nice gradual and maybe a little, they kind of went downhill and then back up. So that would be a good one to try to get rid of, that downhill.
All of them.
I don't know how you would put it as a goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe, the transition.
Yeah.
So transitioning between like elementary to middle school and transitioning from middle school to high school to make sure that they're prepared for that transition.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm glad somebody can explain it correctly.
Good job, Cheryl.
Good job, Cheryl, yeah.
And I'm just going to say that there are a lot of factors that would affect this, a lot. So, but we're looking at, professional development is in place, curriculum is in place, although the state just came out with new way to teach math recently. But yes, we're looking at trying to address all of those, making sure that the instruction is rigorous, it's engaging, it's essential standards and not just fluff. That's the key, I think, right there is essential standards. What do they need to know in 5th grade? What do they need to know in 6th grade? What do they need to know to prepare them for 7th, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to put that down as well.
It's kind of funny sometimes when you have somebody. I have a grandson who does calculus. Don't ask me why. But he can't read a tape measure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, tape measure is one of the best math tools there is.
I'd rather have him doing calculus.
I'm sure you would, because sometimes it just, there's a disconnect between reality and paper.
I'd like to see all of the raised beds on the campuses being used. It's growing?
And we have pumpkin, tomatoes, corn, and squash.
That's what I'm talking about. What's going on at high school?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a bed in the front, I've seen it. And then also at West Park. What's going on?
Yes, I actually have a few teachers who are talking about it, so I will.
It's perfect time, like
spread more.
cool weather crops, greens, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, lettuces, spinach, radishes, beets, all the things. The kids will love it, it's fun. Just sprinkle.
In all honesty, we talked about this when we visited Tropico. They have a very elongated, beautiful bed that there's nothing in right now. That it's right in the middle of the quad. That would be.
I'll come to a garden. I have a garden club. You can join
Dr. Mittens, did you have something to add?
I was going to mention pretty much what Ms. Gaines mentioned, where the different consultants that we're working with, they're focusing on the priority standards. And then I know the work's going to be continued at the middle school level, in particular in mathematics. Instead of like really focusing on seeing which ones are the overarching standards that have skill sets where students will utilize either immediately or in the near future as they transition to high school. That's something that some of the consultants that we're working with are going to continue to work with our teachers in that particular area.
That should help this one.
Right. Yeah.
That should. Dr. Wetzel was at the elementary. She'll still return to the elementaries, She's coming, she's going to be working with middle school teachers on the essential standards, especially in math also.
So, yeah,
That'll help that.
Where you going?
Anything else?
Nothing?
No.
Well, I'm gonna throw it out. Probably get Jimmy mad at me. Girls flag football. I just saw an article in the paper the other day. High school had their first flag football game, and the next day they got inundated with girls coming out.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. You and I had a discussion about this,
Yep.
and there is no our
league is
not participating. So you want me to create a team and participate
They're
somewhere else?
they want the games. You know how many games they've got? They get 28 games a season. And there are people all over the place. One school just went to Catalina and played from up here. So the games are there, but I think what Jimmy is concerned about is that our league, High Desert League, doesn't have it well, but it doesn't mean that we can't go participate with the others. The games are there. The games are there. I think that's what he's worried about is there going to be enough games? But it doesn't necessarily mean we may get it done this year either, or next year. But we need to go at it because the interest is there. We don't want to exclude the girls if they've got an interest. I agree with you. I mean, I understand.
Any?
So this is a long shot. So, and it's in regards to weed abatement. So the goat heads, like, they're crazy. Once you guys know the prickly, the thorns, the plants. And you gotta get them while they're young because they have a deep taproot and they put out the flowers and then the pokey plant, the thing comes out and it gets stuck in the bottom of the kid's shoes and they travel all over the place.
Are they alive?
They might as well be alive. I mean,
what did you call them?
Goat heads.
Goat
heads. Yeah.
Goat heads.
Have you seen the little weed that's really pretty with purple?
With purple flowers or yellow flowers, they change every season. And the flowers, they turn into a thorn. And the thorn dries out and it gets stuck to the bottom of your shoes when you're walking around everywhere.
Get to them.
I said weed abatement. So I know it's hard. I mean, it's a lot of work to find them and pull them out and just, slowly but surely eradicate them on campuses and things of that nature. I said it was a long shot. Good thing.
I think the high school actually has an issue with that for track and field. One of the pits on the side next to the bleachers has been an issue for years
They
now.
just keep going. We're in the desert. They're going to keep coming back.
Ever been.
Well, it's hard because the field has the gates, everything goes.
Whatever your neighbors grow on your problem. Period.
Oh,
Not everything, who knows? But, I'm constantly in my backyard just pulling them out, digging them up, especially with the rain. They come so fast and they're very quick growers and they're, so, if, they have time to notice them, because I see them when I'm walking on campus. There's a girl that I pull people's weeds. It's weird. But, I know, I am weird. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Maybe some better communication, not only between the parents, and everyone, but the board and teachers, principals, for everyone to kind of, get together and coexist.
Communicate, collaborate, the mixer. Yeah.
There you go.
How's it going at the
So
parent
we
center?
can kind of, just get an idea, talk a little more openly, and maybe people are willing to share some ideas, give us some more insight into things.
Okay, and tell me,
Say we had it at Rosemary Elementary in the cafeteria, and all all teachers and administration, whatever, are welcome to come this evening. It was like 2-3 hours. And then set
Like open forum type thing?
yeah, I guess, but just a little more, I guess, not really like chairs and, you know, hey, what do you think? Just everyone kind of walking around and.
Are these agendized items or is it just like common?
Yeah, it's like a social, I don't know, as a parent, before I joined the board, I thought that's kind of what went on. Like, okay, I'm gonna talk to this principal, like, how do you not know about what's going on here? How does this teacher know this and this? And I don't think anyone's really communicating with each other. So it's kind of like,
As I'm about to write, because I do hear what you're saying, I need for you to remember that there are issues that sometimes exist that you know of as the board and I know of, but not all of my cabinet members know of. There's a lot of sometimes confidential things that may be things that administrators know and I know, but not all of the teachers know. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I'm
I was
not.
thinking more of just like, hey, you know, we tried this here and this worked, and you know, just kind of.
Are you talking about like coffee with principal?
Yeah, something like that. Just
very
basic, not like so in depth to where like hey, I'm not supposed to share this, but hey, it's just more. Everyone's kind of.
There's privacy sometimes, that we have to protect kids and protect staff.
And I think
but-
everyone would be kind of aware
So
of
like
that.
coffee with the principal or the superintendent, either one, something like that.
And I would hope that.
So what if we, just trying to help you, what if we just have like a coffee with the principal at each site, and then we just invited the board?
You guys have still united together.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I was trying to say, what I have thought personally from the Parent Center is getting towards like maybe the middle of the year, I've been watching other districts and kind of how they do it. And basically it would be like almost like a meet and greet to where if I had like board members there, principals there, you guys wouldn't necessarily be answering questions and that would be made very clear, but you'd be there to listen to questions.
I like Valentine's Day.
We just worded it.
Anything else?
Ice cream every Friday. No, I'm just
The fellow would go for that, I know.
yeah, go for that.
Okay, that's good. I think that's more than enough to work with.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Okay, first reading, the review of the tropical middle school tardy policy. Steve?
Yes, this was presented, and I'm not going to remember the exact date. Mr. Shevlin presented this to sort of as he just brought it up at a board meeting, that this is what they would like to do to decrease the number of tardies. Not only tardies, when we think of tardies, the first thing that comes to mind is students arriving late to school, but that's not the real, that is a tardy, let me say that is a tardy, but one of the real issues that they've had in the past at Tropico is students actually on campus who arrive late or not at all to class. And then sometimes we have the parents say, why do you have 15 tardies to second period? I drop you off or you ride a bus and you get there early. So this is the tropical middle school tardy policy that they have in place. This is not, let me say up front, this is not the district's tardy policy, and this is not the tardy policy for achiever trips. This has nothing to do with the achiever trips. So this is for your first reading. This will come back another second reading, and then the third time for as an action item.
I was under the impression that, talking with the last meeting we talked about this, that this was heading towards the district policy.
Yes, for tardies.
For tardies, just tardies, okay? So do we want to put tropical school, or do we want to put Southern Kern tardy policy?
If we're going to bring it back as a district policy, then I need to confer this with Mr. Torres, with Mr. Bajnat, and all the other, Mr. Adams, all the other principals as well, and make sure that this applies or would be a good thing for their school as well.
So, because I'm understanding.
I can do that.
I feel like it's more of an occurrence here at the middle school level. Like right now, Mr. Shevlin, have you had to make the phone calls yet to any parents, or the students adhering to?
No, and you guys have my letter, I think, and I was able to share it at back to school night. I want to say, and don't quote me because you have my letter in your booklets, but just alone by just instituting this, we have 101 more students this year, and in the same exact time span, same exact dates, we had roughly 500, we'll just call it even numbers, 500 plus targets. That's with 100 more kids this year by doing this, by letting them know, hey, don't forget the target policy and stuff. And that's with our teachers also knowing that, hey, we're instituting in their classroom, reminding students and stuff like that. So I've seen a difference on the campus by using this. Now, to your questions about how many phone calls home, today I should have made one, because I just issued one, that's it. I sent blackboards home. I say blackboards, so used to Paris Square. I sent those home once a week or twice a week. I'll go along and I'll just check for the tardies. But it's been more like, hey, your kids had 3 tardies, or your kids had 4 tardies. But other than that, I mean, for the first 3 weeks of school, I think the most we had maybe 3 tardies. So it's not a number of kids, because we also hold it above them to say, listen, if you want to have this stuff, you want to be on the sports team. I can tell you, not one student wasn't eligible this year for volleyball. We were joking, we was having some, especially the boys, not many boys come out, but we did have over 70, I think we had about 78 girls come out. Not one young lady was eligible because of tardies. I did go back and look at it. If we look at it last year, we would have had about 13 girls eligible. Right, at the time of the tryouts for volleyball. So there is a difference. But I also see the difference with our teachers, because they see we're following through. They see we're actually putting a policy into place. But I do think that contributes to this dangerous thing too, with the environment of the campus, because I think they're seeing that we're not just speaking stuff, we're putting things into action, and we're holding the kids accountable. I can tell you too, for back to school night, I actually shared with the same exact numbers you guys have in reference to suspensions, in reference to discipline. We did our Title 1, we talked about all that, and I said, okay, now I want to share actual information. Not that they don't care about that, and they do, but I wanted them to see that holding their kids accountable matters. And with this here, I can say that, man, I probably could have counted, but I would say at least 10 times I was stopped on last Wednesday night to say, we really want to thank you for holding them accountable. And it wasn't just on the kids, like the straight A kids, or it was for some kids that last year we had a tough time and stuff, where the kids kind of turning it around now. I've seen a difference where kids aren't just sitting outside, where that's where it was last year when I first took over when I started. Where the kids were just sitting outside the classroom, they just walking out of the class and stuff. So I think by having this, and now, or even this morning, I said, okay, so we don't go to class right now, until the teacher markers hard. This was on a student who had issues with it and stuff, and getting it into class. And even he understands. Let me remember, I want to be more time and stuff. So I do think that it does matter. It carries its weight for even the students we don't think it matters to. So I really do think that and I think the teachers appreciate it because they hear us using that language, and they hear us saying it. So, and I shared with the staff at the beginning of the year that we sit in these expulsive areas, and it gets thrown back on or the docs and stuff, that the board members are asking us, well, how is this kid got 100 targets, or 115 targets, or 200 targets, and stuff, like how is it even possible? And, and I said, I'm never going to throw any of you guys under the bus, that's on us, we look at it, but you guys have to do us a favor, you gotta start looking at these kids and having that door open and having a little more credibility for your class. And you see a kid struggling to get here, you go for the extra 2 seconds. We really have to go through and break down what a tardy is, like Ms. Gates said. Yes, a tardy's coming in the morning. And I will say, that's probably the biggest issue we have with that first period. Now, that's our biggest issue. As we go through our periods, first period and last period, let's be quite honest, what that is, that's the parent. And that's going to be a whole other conversation where we do have to make those phone calls. Because it's going to be, well, I dropped the kid off, or I picked him up. And, personally, those are the things that I want to do.
So, Mr. President, if you would allow me, I can return this at our next board meeting. I think in reading this and looking at how it really protects school activities, sports, band, cadet corps, and clubs, I think this would really be appropriate for not only the middle school, but the high school. And I can talk to Mr. Torres about seeing if we want to include rare earth in this as well. And maybe making this a secondary tardy policy, because sure, I think it's more applicable to secondary.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Robin, what do you think about that?
I think the party policy is a good idea. Whether I want it like the middle schools, I have reservations.
Now, I had a question on party policies, especially like for extracurricular. Say it's got 20 parties. Is there any way that he can eliminate those 20 parties by doing like a Saturday school?
And see, that's where our policy differs from there. We do have a policy. If our students aren't having made it to 90% of their classes on time, they're ineligible to participate. So every Friday, I pull up the numbers that would be 90%, and anyone over that was on an ineligible list. We already have a football player who hasn't been able to play 2 weeks in a row now because he is above that number. Now, doing 90% means next week that number is higher, so they may be eligible again.
The problem with that, if I looked into that, we cannot remove tardies off an attendance. When a child's tardy, they're tardy.
But we're not removing it.
No. That's what my question was.
Yeah. So if you put a policy in place that says after 20 tardies, student cannot do ... then there's no way to go back on. I spoke with this at length with our auditor, trying to think about your plan there, Robin, and she said we can't do it. Once a child is tardy, they're tardy. I mean, if we want to do something on, they want to keep records of all that and let kids remove some, but it would not come off of the permanent record. Tardies are tardies.
So we're not removing anything, so that's what I'm saying. We're 90% changes as the denominator changes. So this week it was, if you had more than 10, you were ineligible. Next week it's 13, because they have more periods they can.
So what the high school is doing is rather than saying 5, 10, 15, 20, it's 90%. So based on, the amount of periods, how many they
So
are.
week 1, 3 tardies was too many. No, I just put the number in, and there's a report right in Aries that does it for me. It tells me which kids are not eligible.
To now
Fix the ratio.
Well,
The problem with that though is, and I don't know, I'm trying to, but I mean, I've looked into that as well, is that is based off of absent, and you're not absent, it just leaves a lot of undetermined. But I would say usually we try to do something similar to that. So that's the only reason I wrote it, just basic numbers. I'm not, whatever we decide to do, right? We decide to do it. So it just went into the whole fact of I could be tardy once and be ineligible, instead I got sick for 2 days. And you could be tardy twice because then you went to school for, so it's not a predetermined number where we're not being treated equally. It's not the equity.
If you're absent, are you automatically marked tardy for the classes that you're not?
No. What I'm saying is, if you mark absence, and that's not going into how many times you missed that class.
Right.
Now you go from, say, for us, you have 7 periods, so 35 classes. So now instead of being, what you should give RP, say, 3 out of 35, now it's going to be your 2 out of 28.
Yeah, we're not changing it first case, if you're asking that one.
I hear what you're saying. I think like this, it sounds like this policy.
We just use round numbers, that's all.
Right.
That's all.
Any comments, sir?
My kids are not allowed to participate in sports, so there's nothing for me to take away from them really, other than achiever trips if they go over a certain amount of absence.
Okay.
And we say 3 tardies equals 1 absence.
it's pretty heavy, right?
It's pretty cut and dry for him, so.
But I'd still like to read the tardy policies.
Or the office. Okay, so I was first reading. Review of Southern Kern USD 2023-2024 attendance policy. Mrs. Gaines?
Yes, I wanted to bring, was board approved on April 26th of 2023. And what we did we had every end of the year, we always have some students and parents who are concerned about their child walking in promotion because they have exceeded the number of days absent throughout the year. And and I know that there's always there will be a case out there where perhaps I get to talk about maybe a child being injured in an automobile accident or something, just out of the ordinary happened that caused that child to have extra days absence. And we always do our best to look at the issue and then before making a decision. But what we did that I felt was necessary to align with the Ed code. This way it's really crystal clear, is the Ed code 48263.6, a 90% attendance policy must be met in grades K through 12. It's pretty cut and dry. It's there. We don't need to, it is what it is, and it goes on. We gave all the evidence on the policy. This applies to all 6 of our schools, including the elementaries. I just thought it might be good for us to review with the parents that 90% is what it requires or better to participate in 8th grade promotion, ceremony, high school graduation, and all end of year activities for all grades throughout the school year. So it's pretty
transparent. Yeah. The reason why this was brought up is that I do, as I said, read comments from the public on Facebook and so forth. I do not answer. But I did say that if you've got comments or whatever, that you're more than welcome to come to the meeting and express. Obviously, nobody has. And the differences for me is these parents don't understand the differences between absences, parties, excused or unexcused absences, whatever. Instead of calling into the district, which I am going to implore everybody to do, get the story correct. That's what they're here for. But you don't need to put stuff out there that is misinformation, and then people get on and keep going that misinformation. And now we've got parents that are mad because their child is not walking, or their child can't go play football or sports for the rest of the year, or is it a year, or is it each semester? I'm sorry. Semester, so each semester. For years? I still like that idea, each semester. But, you got to understand, they better take responsibility. I used to have, I think Mario had the same problem, same policy in his house. You're in trouble at school, you're in trouble at home. We need to get back to that, because the kids are using excuses not to attend class. I know some folks have seen our students from the high school. Bells rung. Where are they? Starbucks. Or over at the grocery stores. They need to be in school. This is what we need to get them to do. Parents, that's your responsibility. So we're asking you to take on that responsibility. That's all I have. All right, let's move on. Next is selection and approval of 3K building services, proposal for project inspection services, Roseland High Early College Campus Cafeteria Project. Shirley?
All right, so in the proposal from 3K for the inspector of record services for the Roseland High School cafeteria project. There are two options if we elect to go with them for the service. Option one is an hourly cost with a total of $306,000. Option two is a fixed price that is equal monthly payments. The total of all of those monthly payments would be $290,000. So
this is just for the cafeteria project.
Correct.
Right. Now, is the hourly cost have a not to exceed?
The $306,000 would be the not to exceed. So theoretically, it could be lower than that, but if
So we need to figure out if we want to do equal monthly payments, which would total $290,000, or an hourly cost not to exceed $306,000.
Yeah.
What is your recommendation, sir?
My recommendation would be to just go with fixed price, because we already know what it is. It's fixed. Given the variables with construction on hourly, if we have another freak winter of more rain than we know what to do with, or another freak August with more rain than we know what to do with, delays that drag out the project and, increase the number of man hours required to finish and everything else. And I think it lessens the likelihood of needing to come back with a change order or a new proposal for additional time.
This is another inspector that has to be on site.
Yes.
Yes.
For any ESA project that he has to inspect. Now, he doesn't have to inspect the ground, he has to inspect how it's put there.
So he's just sitting there watching.
No, there's certain criteria they use. In other words, if they're putting the building there, they're supposed to put in 6 nails, and then we put in 5. Oh, yeah.
All right, he's trying to nail.
He's a bean counter. Okay, do I have a motion?
A motion that we move forward with option 2.
Okay.
Fixed price.
Second from Lincoln. Don't forget, Madison, we have the right to meter. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Review and approve unaudited actuals. Mr. Urban?
Let's stand up for this one. Alrighty, so it's that time of year again for me to do a quarterly presentation. This one is on the unaudited actuals, so it's the first stage of closing out what was last fiscal year. The unaudited actuals are our annual statement. Basically, it's the beginning of letting the dust settle. How much revenue did we get? What was our expenditures? They're unaudited because our auditors won't be here until October to then go through with their fine-tooth comb and red pen and, point out, okay, yes, your assets don't total up to what they should be, all of the fun auditor things. So, so I've taken 120 odd pages and condensed it into about, I think it's 8 slides, including the title. But we're going to start off with revenue. So our 22-23 revenue for the year is about $75.3 million, which is a lot higher than it used to be. When I came in, the budget for my first year was at, I think it was about $65 million. And that was 2021. There's the considerable amount of one-time funds that have still been received, and then expanded revenues for learning loss mitigation, expanded learning opportunities, a little bit more of the fallout from COVID-19 of learning loss mitigation, everything else. In addition to our ADA increasing as our enrollment has grown every year that I've been here. Our beginning fund balance back in July was $17 million. So we ended with, as of June 30th, $36.5 million. And this is a combination of increased in revenue as well as when we get into expenditures, areas via LCAP that were underspent. So this is the breakdown of the revenue. I'm gonna pat myself on the back on this one a little bit. For if you look at this column is unaudited actual. So this is the report for the end of the year. This is the estimated actual. So if you'll recall to the budget presentation, there's 2 columns of what is upcoming year's budget and where do you think you're going to end this year. I almost nailed the total balance. It's only about $500,000 off, which in the grand scheme of things, it's a big number, but compared to $75 million, like it's, But what I didn't anticipate was that state revenues for LCFF. So this is our LCAP dollars and our all of our state aid dollars. So LCAP, EPA, there's a resolution about later. That's what our LCFF dollars comprise of, as opposed to other state revenue. EPA dollars were pulled back as part of the upcoming 23-24 budget by the state. So I overshot the estimate there by about $1.2 million. Lucky for me, all of that money got pulled out of that column and put into other state revenue for one-time funds. So, it almost comes out as a loss. In fact, we come out ahead, so, I'll take it. On the other side of the coin are the expenditures. Our total expenditures for the year for general fund were $56,615,000. Again, the number a lot higher than my first year here. Preparing Preparing this PowerPoint, this number that was $17 million, the first time I did this presentation was $200,000. And and that was the where the comma left off. There was nothing in front of that. So we, in the last 2.5 years, I think it's been about 2.5 years, right? I don't know how long I've been here, but anyway, we've made some headway on the revenue side as well as the expenditure side. We carry over and committed funds for that were part of the budget. Expenditures were expected as over expenditure, but a lot of that was personnel shortfalls of when we get into salaries for teachers that we didn't hire, or we had folks that were former teachers retired that were working for us. The cap for retirees that are teaching is, I think, $51,000 a year. So that versus if we were able to pay them what they would be worth in terms of years of experience on a salary schedule, we're getting them for a steal, because otherwise, they run into issues with their pension and it benefits nobody. Overall salary and benefits made up 77.79% of the unaudited expenditures. And this is where you see, anywhere there's a negative number here, a number in parentheses, is we spent less than what was fully budgeted. Where with the carryover and LCAP of around $5 million, it's across the board really. The only place that we overspent that was under budgeted was in benefits. And that's with the increased cost of unemployment insurance and the ever increasing cost of pensions for pastors and helpers, as well as health and welfare costs going. So more people that would have, formerly fallen under the health and welfare cap, they were at that cap or and then our ending balances in our other funds. Fund 13, our cafeteria fund, County Cooking, is very robust at the moment with $2.6 million. Our state facilities funds, Fund 35, that is our main source of construction funding. So that $19 million is comprised of mostly the funds for the Tropical project, and soon to be, everything going according to plan. The RES project will have more funds there. Overall, what else we got there? Capital facilities, that are developer fees. It's fairly steady. It's a little bit lower than it was a year ago, but we've added 5 more portables to West Park and bid for those out of Fund 25, as it's ongoing expense to have more housing for students. And yeah, so that is the end of my presentation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve resolution 22-24-01, educational protection account, Article 8, Section 36E. Mr.
Alrighty, this is the first of two resolutions tonight that are annual resolutions. Language in this is pro forma, basically. It's EPA funds are part of state aid, like I said earlier. The purpose for these funds are instructional use. The district's use of these funds at this point is solely on teacher salary. We don't pay for anything else using EPA funds. So this is, just an annual update to the resolution that needs to be passed every year with the first interim.
Make a motion to approve.
Is that you, Adrian?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve resolution 23-24-02, GAN limit.
Alright. So the GAN limit is a spending limit that was put in place with Proposition 4 in 1979. It is a resolution for both the state and then local governments on the amount of funds spent in a given year. So this is another pro forma resolution that addresses that, yes, we are subject to the GAN limit and we have not had any issues in terms of exceeding that limit within the last year.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. We got her. She's on record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, your mom over there laughing. Personnel items. Approve the following list of personnel items. We do have one small change from Keck to Kirk. You're on, Mrs. Sargis.
As I mentioned, we've been doing a lot of hiring. We have our math and reading academies. And so we just ask that you approve as written with the Kirk instead of Keck. Correction.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Yes, ma'am.
I second.
Second, Brandon. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank. Last but not least, adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. 8:55. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
8:55. Thank you all for coming. Yes. No, I got.